How's it going, folks? It's KGOKev, as you probably know. And happy 6th anniversary to Your Turn to Die, aka Kimi Ga Shine. We've had a lot of cool ways to celebrate Your Turn to Die's anniversary in the past, which, for this year, we have something very special. To celebrate this momentous occasion, the creator of Your Turn to Die, Mr. Nankidai himself, has agreed to an interview and has answered 15 questions. Not just my questions, but questions from you guys, aka questions from the fandom as a whole, which I have been able to gather over time. I hope you guys are excited, because, well, not only is it the 6th anniversary, we are on the road to the final chapter. And with Mr. Nankidai becoming a new father of 2 kids, let us all together as a community continue to kindly support him and graciously await the release of the final chapter. Thank you ever so much to Mr. Nankidai for everything that you do. I am very honored to be able to get the chance to make this video. So yeah, folks, like, comment, subscribe. We are nearly at 30K, so let's get it. Also debuting today is a fancy new intro created for me by the wonderfully talented and amazing animator plus Your Turn to Die community member, Marmarmia. Thank you ever so much, Marmarmia. They are fantastic, folks, so make sure you check out all of Marmarmia's links in the description below. Without further ado, let's get ready to show Mr. Nankidai some love. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as we get the chance to learn more about Kimi Ga Shine and all of its characters y'all love so much, what it's like writing and creating a game, and about our man, our guy, Mr. Nankidai himself. Thanks for coming out, folks. Let's get started. Question 1. When did you start thinking about the story of Kimi Ga Shine? What made you decide to tell this story? In 2017, the management of a service called RPG Atsumaru invited me to participate in a project to create a horror game, and I started thinking about the story when I participated in it. I started production around May of 2017, with plans to release the game in August, and during that time, I came up with the main storyline. I had only made comedies up to that point, so I was motivated by the desire to make a serious story that was completely different. Question 2. From releasing Kimi Ga Shine, how has life changed for you personally and as a creator? What do you think about having so many people from all over the world affected by your writing and your characters? Even creating content like making YouTube videos on Kimi Ga Shine, cosplaying your characters, or even making art. I was surprised and really happy because I didn't expect so many people to enjoy it. Since I started making Your Turn to Die, I have had manga and novels published based on it, and I have received requests to write stories in a similar style as new works. I have never accepted the offers because I want to complete Your Turn to Die. It makes me happy from the bottom of my heart to see fans loving my work and enjoying it through videos, art, cosplay, etc. And every time I see such works, it gives me more energy and motivation to create. I hope that everyone will continue to enjoy. I will do my best to respond to your love for my work. Question 3. You have a background as a manga artist. What made you decide to make a game of the story instead of another way? Why did you decide to use RPG Maker to create this game? When I was about 13 to 15 years old, I used to make games using a software called RPG Sukuru 2000. I thought I could use my experience from back then. At the time I started making Kimi Ga Shine, free gameplay videos were very popular on video sites in Japan. I learned that there were many great games by watching those videos, and I was very attracted to the free game culture, so I wanted to make one myself. Question 4. Needless to say, it would be very difficult to write for this game and multiple routes. It's very impressive. How do you manage to balance it all so well, especially during trials? Sara and the rest of the group persistently try to escape, while the Floor Masters as a collective consistently try to kill the survivors. Because those two objectives are clearly defined, we can tell the story and combine them to some extent. The truth of the matter is, I don't think too much about the balance for the game. If it looks fun to play, then we integrate it into the branching routes. I also spend a lot of time adjusting. I've created many different paths, and also have deleted them. Question 5. You have a very impressive understanding of human psychology and how people behave in stressful situations. What research, if any, did you do in the making of Kimi Ga Shine? Was the plot influenced by real events? Did you have to study anything in order to write any of the characters? While thinking about the story, I always wonder, what would I do? I don't do or say anything that I wouldn't agree with. I don't have any actual events or models, but I write the psychology of the characters by deeply following what my A self or what my B self would do. I've been using this method since my days as a manga artist, and I'd say it has carried over into my game production. Question 6. People have really come to love the dummies, i.e. those who died in the first trial. Were these characters always going to be victims? Why did you decide to resurrect them? I was thinking about the story of Kimi Ga Shine based on the premise of the idea of the dead being resurrected as puppets. The number of characters was getting smaller and smaller, so this idea was added to make it more exciting. Since Kimi Ga Shine was loved by many people, I was able to include them as planned, with lots of detail. It makes me very happy. If the work had not been known to anyone, the dummies might have had a relatively smaller role. Question 7. You've mentioned the order in which you've developed the main survivors in the past, Sara being first and KG/male Alice being the last one. What is the order in which you developed the dummies and the current Floor Masters? I don't remember all of the details, just for reference, but it goes like this. The first was Hoemi, Sue Miley. I created her alongside the main survivors. Her design was inspired by pudding, or a chocolate banana. The second one was Gashu, a bad guy who deserves to be the boss of Chapter 2. His design is based on tiramisu. Third was Hanaki and Noelle, Safalin and Ranger. Gashu is an old man, so I made a young and adorable pair to balance things out. The fourth was Anzu, a girl who wears the same hood as Noelle, since Ranger wears the clothes of the dead. The fifth was probably Hayasaka. I thought we needed an ordinary businessman. The sixth was Mai, Kuramada, and Ranmaru, all thought up at about the same time. Kuramada for a strong man with a high survival percentage. Ranmaru and Mai I imagine from their names and occupations. The seventh was Sohiori. I was very satisfied upon initially drawing his eerie standing image. Question 8. Why did you come up with the idea of non-candidates in the first place? The part I wanted to portray the most was Joe not being a candidate. I wanted to show Sara is at a tragic loss when losing her best friend, Joe. This point affects and reduces her chances of winning. In turn, I wanted to use this to show and develop Sara's character. Question 9. Currently, we know the birthdays of the 12 main survivors, like Sara. The fans are curious about the birthdays for the other characters. What are the birthdays of Ranmaru Kageyama and the dummies, or the real Sohiori and the Floor Masters? I would like to eventually make a complete setting material art book, so please wait until then. Question 10. I would like to ask you about the development of Kimi Ga Shine and how the game evolves with each chapter. You mentioned before that characters such as Alice Yabusame and Kana's sister changed as you were making Kimi Ga Shine, but has the story stuck to a main outline? People are curious if you had the story all written out before creating the game, or if there were parts of the story that were still undecided while working on earlier chapters. The main storyline that I had in mind from the beginning, such as who would be sacrificed, is progressing as planned. However, my work was initially intended to be smaller in scale, so things like the appearance of the dummies would have been treated as more minor elements. I am very happy and thankful that the fans love the direction I went with this. Ultimately, in the end, I was able to create a storyline that I wanted to do, and in a way that I find satisfying. As for the gameplay, each chapter introduced new features like the minigame attractions of Chapter 2 or Chapter 3's Maple/Obstructor fights. Was the addition of new gameplay elements planned from the start, or did you decide to add them as the chapters progressed? I always intended to include new features and gameplay elements in the first part of every chapter. That said, I think over what type of gameplay mechanics I want to do when I make them. I try to think about what gameplay is technically feasible, and that will bring out the charm of the characters. Sometimes, during the game-making process, I have to rework things with a different approach if the idea doesn't pan out. For the spinning coffins in Chapter 3, I originally had an alternative plan in mind. Question 11. What were your favorite things in favorite media growing up? Are you into anything from Western culture, primarily media? And have Western influences shaped the writing and development of Kimi Ga Shine? Growing up, I played Nintendo 64 video games like Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros., and Puyo Puyo almost every day with my friends. I also remember watching a lot of Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Pinky and the Brain, Billy and Mandy, etc. on Cartoon Network on TV. Before the production of Kimi Ga Shine, I enjoyed watching the Saw series and The Walking Dead. I was also really into Dead by Daylight, so you can see the influence of that when you play the hide-and-seek minigame in the first part of Chapter 2. Question 12. Have any other visual novels or death game/survival-related media influenced you? If so, please provide examples. My biggest influences are the Ace Attorney series and the Danganronpa series. They are the best games that I respect very much. I want to try my best to mirror these games while also being able to bring innovation to the genre. Question 13. What are some of the interactions with fans of Kimi Ga Shine that have left a positive impact on you? I get feedback on the game and words of support, which motivates me very much to produce the game. I am grateful that fans love my work, thus I am able to happily produce it. Question 14. What's it like being a father? How do you think being a parent will influence you as a person and creatively moving forward? I have very cute kids right now. I wanted to create a game so great that it would inspire my children when they grow up and eventually play it. I think it would be interesting if, one day, I could use my fatherhood, which I never have before, in my work. And even if I have a child, I would like to still make stimulating games without having to hold back. And the final question. Question 15. Fans are eagerly awaiting the conclusion of Kimi Ga Shine and its side content. Along with that, what are your plans for the future? Are you interested in creating stories in other genres or developing other games? Thank you for loving Kimi Ga Shine. I will do my best to bring it to the best possible conclusion. Of course, right now I am only thinking about making Kimi Ga Shine, but I am interested in making another game after it is completed. And with that, those were the 15 questions asked by the community and answered graciously by the man himself, Mr. Nankidai. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed learning more about Kimi Ga Shine, all of its wonderful characters, and having your questions answered. Even though we don't all share the same spoken language, like I'm a fool who can barely speak English myself, as you can tell, what we do share is our love for Mr. Nankidai's wonderful creation. And indeed, thank you so much to Mr. Nankidai for agreeing to do this interview. Thank you very much. You are great. Gonna quickly give some thanks to some really awesome people who really deserve it. Thank you, Marmarmia, for creating the spectacular intro animation that I will be using in videos moving forward. It came out so good. Check them out, like I said. They're an amazing member of the community, and you can find more stellar art and animations like the one they made for me on their socials. Thank you to moonviewingtruth for creating both awesome art pieces for this anniversary interview. I very much appreciate all that you do for me. Make sure you guys show your appreciation as well. And huge shoutouts / thanks to CarsonHua7645 and the Kage Pro 24 for their efforts with translating my words from English to Japanese. Without them, none of this could have happened. So yeah, show them lots of gratitude, everybody. Thank you, Carson Hua, Kira, the One True Grig, Marmarmia, all of my wonderful members, mods, and everyone who helped with this video in some way, shape, or form. Happy 6 years to Kimi Ga Shine, and to a wonderful anniversary. here's to many more awesome years to come. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think we were done? We have one more thing left to show. Alrighty, folks. One final message. Check this out.
こんにちは。君が死ね多数決デスゲームを制作しているナンキダイです。一章前編を公開してから6周年を迎えることができました。制作に没頭する日々が続き、あまりこうしてね、発信することができませんでしたが、祝っていただけてとても嬉しいです。ありがとうございました。現在は、完結編の制作をね中心に行いつつ、合間に Steam 版の追加要素の過去編エピソードを制作しています。そしてストーリーが完結した先には、アドベンチャーノベルゲームとして遊びやすいように機能をね充実させていくことも予定しています。自分一人で制作を続けていますので、とても時間がかかってしまって申し訳ないのですが、ぜひ物語の結末を最後まで皆様に見届けていただけると嬉しいです。どうかよろしくお願いいたします。ありがとうございました。
Show Mr. Nankidai some love, everybody. Thank you so much for everything that you do. From myself and the community as a whole, we graciously await your next endeavors. Take your time, and again, thank you. And with that said, folks, we're about done here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get to 30K, folks. We're just about there. And yeah. With all that said, this is KGOKev signing out. Have a good rest of your guys' days. I'll catch you guys later on whatever else we do. Happy 6th anniversary. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out for now. Have a good one.